when I left here 78 or 9 years ago.
Oh, you have?
There were 3 buildings here. The old church.
I'll be back Sunday.
One building that
Yeah.
Okay.
it used to be the place of worship. For all of the Methodist folks around Browns Creek. And it was a place where children and families within 3 or 4 miles of this area came to school by day. Had only one room, one teacher. The highest grade at that time, way back when I was young, was only to the 7th grade. And all the things that I remember. Folks, this is a sacred place for me. This is sacred. There's no place on earth that is more sacred. It's all for me here. The song that we sang as little children that we were taught when we came to Sunday school. I came to regular school. Was not God bless America, but my country 'tis a be. Land of sweet liberty. Oh God, we sing that song. I'm thinking now when a little fellow coming to church and it's coming to school. That's what we sang. Then the Lord's Prayer. Yes, from little tots all the way up to youngsters that was in their early or perhaps the middle teens. That time they went through just about 7th grade and they're gone. I remember the preachers. Reverend Collins. Reverend Lawford. All the other preacher, I forget his name. He was here for only a little while. But he taught them to sing. And I remember parts of it. Don't forget the family prayer. So Jesus will meet you there. When you gather around the altar. Oh God, I remember that. Yes, I hear that. I remember that. I think the last pastor that I was here was Al Allen. I love to hear him preach. Talk about the story of little David and the giant Goliath. Oh, I don't know, some of you know my Sunday school teacher. It was here young folk that I saw the pictures of the baby Jesus. They called her Sweet Hannah. You remember Amanda? I know you do, some of you. This is what I heard. The story about Jesus. And I remember some of the old hymns. They still ring in my ears, and I sang them in my church. I pastored about 38 years that I pastored. And oh God, the songs that they sang, I still remember. There's a fountain filled with blood.
Yes, sir.
Drawing from Emmanuel. They never left me, young folks. I'm talking about my beginning. As I say, there's no place on earth, and there's no place more sacred, and there's nothing that stirs my memory, stirs my very beginning. My God, you could count the cemetery. Take it as it happened. As I know anything about men, probably 50 yards all the way around, as in the circumference. Was the place of this. I looked. I was born 100 yards from it. I remember the little steps that they had across where the buggies and the wagons couldn't get in the yard. But the church and I, that tree gives me berry. I can't go by anything else. I remember the second building. Uncle Betty helped build it alongside of that building. I remember that building. I remember its proximity to the graveyard. I couldn't remember much more than Mama said she don't remember. I said I remember. I remember that time.
That's all right.
There is an event. It was an episode that etched in my memory, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. You see, I want to tell all of you, according to my measurement of time, possibly you and your siblings, we mark about 7 generations from my grandparents. Yes, I remember Grandma. I remember my grandfather on my father's side, but my grandmother and grandfather was gone. Grandpa Jim, I knew him. I knew about his father. His name was Noah. You see, they were, his father was a slave. His father was named Noah. His mother and Priest's children was named Greasy. I'm telling you what I know. Aunt Chrissy was named after Grandpa's mama. And then Hannah was named after Grandma's mother. Oh, I don't remember the name of her father because nobody really paid too much attention because they knew that her father was not the father of that family, was the Yarborough. My grandfather, great-grandfather, was a slave master. He was a white man. Grandma was triracial. She had a half Indian and a half black woman as her mother, but a white man as her father. So you got black Indian and white Indian.
Amen. Amen.
I don't know how many other things you might. But I know you have that from my father's side. My mother, I only remember profile of her picture. My Uncle Columbus is the only one that had that. But looking at her profile, I gathered that she was Hispanic. And the reason why I say that, one of my grandmother's half-sisters was still living. And I knew her, and she must have passed, I don't know, when I was around 7 or 8 years old. We called her Little Auntie. And she looked like a Mexican. She had a brother. His name was Eddie Burks. And he used to sleep with my brother Lorenzo, which was next to me in this, what is it, September? September is the 9th month, isn't it? Lorenzo was 21 months younger than I. This is how I can measure time. And this is why that I argue with my mother about my remembering a service that was a funeral service. I don't know who it was, that she had only my brother as a baby. He was up in her arms. And I'm a little fella, young now, and a cousin, I know her and all about her. She's a family. My baby brother was her baby. Listen, hear this, and don't forget it. My grandparents were just one generation out of slavery. And etched in their mind a beauty. And that is how you had to be white. My brother, as a baby, was attracted by the family. He had a light skin. He had freckles. He had sandy hair. And when they came, our cousins came to the family. They went right to my mother and my little brother baby. My brother's bed, and they talked, and they didn't see me. And they gave candy. I remember Baby Ruth candy to my little brother. And I'm crying, give me some, give me some. And he was stingy and simple. Wouldn't do it, and I'm crying. Wouldn't give me any candy. I remember that. Yes, back then. If you like, you're all right.
Come on now. Preach.
If you're brown,
Yeah.
stick around.
Yeah.
If you're black, get back.
Yeah.
That spirit
Yeah.
permeated the slaves. And it came down and it rested in the mind of the heart of a lot of our people. Oh my God! I remember those days.
Amen.
We'd go out for lunch, little kids, and we'd come in. How spiritual it was. Teachers taught us member verses. And we repeated every call your name. You give a recitation.
That's right.
All that you do, do it with your might.
Yeah.
Things that are done by hand are never done right. Another one,
That's right.
if a task is once begun,
That's right.
never leave it until it's done. Be it labor,
Great or small.
great or small.
That's right. Do it well.
Do it well,
That's
Not
right.
at all.
or not at all.
Come on now. Come on, preacher.
That's right.
You weren't here,
Yeah.
but I'm telling you, we only had one teacher. And that's how they would actually teach us in the school.
That's right.
Yes. Oh my God. At the end of the day, we were dismissed. And there was a little prayer.
Yes.
Lord, what's between me and thee?
That's right.
Well,
While we
yeah,
absent from one another.
Yes.
And
Oh God.
yes.
You see, right here is where it started.
That's the truth.
Oh God, help me.
Lord.
It was rooted and grounded in me. And it stayed with me all my life.
Amen.
Yes, about 18 years of age. I don't want to say I found the Lord, but he didn't have to find me. He knew where I was. He came into my life. And he changed me as a young man.
Amen.
That led me into the ministry where
Blessing.
I carried the papers. And I still carry some. Of course, I went into the ministry. Well, I pastored 68, I had ministered
Amen.
68 years, and I pastored
Amen.
about 38.
Amen.
I still love God.
All right.
I still love God.
Amen.
And I encourage everybody.
That's right.
I don't want to get all into the religious.
That's the truth.
Sister told me it's going to be hot here.
All right.
But all my heart is full.
Yes.
Yes.
For 3.5 miles or more in circumference, I knew where everybody lived
Amen.
and who. I knew their name. I knew their families. I knew their names. I knew them. Nobody knew my family like I did. I remember the habits of my father and all of his siblings. How they loved their mother. You see, I suffered under the misfortune of an early separation. from my father and mother. And I don't remember, sad to say, my grandmother until I was about 5 or 6 years old. And I was born within 150 yards of her. But I never knew her until that separation. That separation brought my brother and our baby sister to our grandma's house. And I saw her, she had real light skin. I've never seen a two-tone person before in my life. None of you here old enough to remember. Some of you know historically what the Elizabethan age was like. That spirit, the long sleeves, you know. But you know, in preparing vegetables and things like that, she roll up a skin and roll up a sleeve. And I saw the blue veins in her hands running up. Yeah, when she pulled that bonnet off, I could see that white face and what have you. I was scared of her for a while. You know, and you're not. Oh, I remember going to Oregon. I moved to Oregon when 1952, and I was in a post office, and I saw a lady came into the post office. She had a little child, these white kids. And I don't know, maybe they hadn't been exposed to black folks very much. But that little boy gazed at me. Oh, the mother came changed. And I didn't want to embarrass her or anybody else. I felt like saying, let that little boy alone. He hadn't seen black folks before. He ought to know about it. I know. I've been there. Because I remember how I felt about Grandma. But she's the most loving creature you'd ever want to meet. She was a sweet person. Boy, she used to, I don't remember ever whipping me. She may have pulled my ears, scolded me, and things like that. But she never whipped me, but when she wanted to really get me, she'd scold me and say, all right, Ned. All right, Ned. Or, all right, Jim. And there was another, get out of here, Walt. See, Uncle Walt was my grandfather's brother. Henry Titus was his brother. Willie Titus was one of his brothers. I could go on the line and tell you their name like I know them on my daddy's side. But that's what she'd do. She'd scold me and say, get out of here. Or whatever one of the names she did. It was just always Ned. I was always Walt. And get out of here, Jim. But she didn't call me anything else, but I know that when she's there, and I should get out. Folks, I'm telling you how these episodes of my life as a youngster growing up and the thing that I witnessed as a little boy. Yes, I don't know how many of our grandchildren, but you know, I talk with Virgil. He and I talked a lot, you know, about old times, about old folks and what have you. And I talked to him about grandfather's brother. But he didn't remember him. He only saw him one time. And he came to the funeral of our grandfather. None of you here know anything about him. His name was Frank. Frank Keeton. Oh, he was a statue, but a little larger than Uncle Harrison. And he had kind of red eyes. He was a black man. And he came to it, and I remember grandmother's brother, she only had one. Some of you don't know, but I was born. I lived in that house. He came to see her 2 or 3 years from Kansas City. I don't know if you put a ribbon around his head and all of that and put him in Indian clothes, he'd look just like what we saw in the pictures of Indian. But they were lovely people to us. Treated us well. Young folk, you've come a long way.
Amen.
You represent us. Represent 7 generations from the time of slavery to now. See, before then, you were just a property. They sold you like you were cattle. They took babies out of the arms of mothers. And they sold their children. Some were just that cruel. They handled them. Treated us just like stock. Oh, not all of them were bad. There were some nice. And I've witnessed some that were real nice before I left here. But I grew up, and when I got 15, before I got there, I just got tired of being looked at that I was nothing. And that I would never be anything but a boy. And that you never get to the place that you was old enough, no matter what you, to be anything but old uncle. You see, the white people that respected my grandfather, you know what they called him? Talking to the other old Uncle Jim. Oh, Uncle Jim. They had high regard for him.
Amen.
But that's as far as it goes. When they call you uncle.
Uncle.
No, mister.
That's the
None
truth.
of that.
That's the truth. They usually
I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I have experienced growing up. So I grew up. I saw the papers. I saw police, yes, even back then. My God, what are you talking about? Oh, let me stop. I'll talk too long. Because that's too much that I remember. Tell you a whole lot of things about what's going on now.
Right.
Some of the things that I went through when I was wearing the uniform. Yes, I'm talking about in the South. I'm not saying all white people are bad. God destroyed that in me. When I lived in Oregon, I had a car and kids, and out above Weed, California, my car, station wagon ran off of the road in a ditch. And there was snow, and my car is headed down, and the road cars are going by, and nobody would stop, but one big truck that came by stopped. He saw and said, "Hey, what's the matter, you truck?" Talking with a southern bro. I said, "Wow, that's all of these cars." For a good 10 minutes they went by and wouldn't stop. But that white man on that truck got off and got a chain, got it on his knees, and hooked it to the back axle of my car and pulled me up out of that ditch. So when I got down to Los Angeles, I was coming from Portland going that way. I told her, I said, "Honey, all white people are missing. I know it now. They ain't all bad. There are a lot of good white people.
That's good.
They like you, they love you. And what I'm saying to you, there are a lot of them on our side now. We know that. They fight with us and what have you. But you always been relegated to the back spot,
That's right.
even at the signing of the Emancipation.
That's right.
It took time for them to get out of that blood. It's time now for you to get something between your ears. Booker T. Washington was wise enough
That's right.
to persuade his masters to give him an education.
That's right.
He said, I can be a better slave. All we frown on that philosophy.
That's right.
But that's how Booker T. Washington got his education.
That's right. That's right.
When he got an education, they educated him. Maybe not. I don't want to say that they had an evil heart, because I don't believe they did. I don't believe everybody got an evil heart. I've had them to make the difference when I lived here, but I'm just trying to tell you that I was angry. And I didn't want to leave. I necessarily want to leave. But I got tired of this place.
Yes.
I'm going to get away from here. I tried to leave at 16. But my father didn't allow me to stay another year. And then I got out of here. Well, what I want to say to all of you. Get all you can between your ears.
Amen.
Because let me tell you, that enslaves you more than anything else.
Amen.
Amen?
Amen.
You get your education. Get yourself ready. You know now you can hold the greatest office in the United States.
Amen.
And that's president.
Amen.
All you have to do, put something between
Between those
your
ears.
ears.
All right.
Don't let anybody rob you of it. Get all of it you can. And prepare. And they're ready now to accept you. The people that live now. And as time go on, but they're ready now. And you can be anything you want to do.
That's right.
Do anything you want to do. They
Amen.
don't look at your skin. But they do look at your ability, what you're able to do. Do that.
Amen.
Oh God,
That's right.
this time is rich. When I think about it as a boy. Oh, I think about my old friend. Oh my God. Sitting
Amen.
out on the porch. I've been down maybe for a mile or so from the house. Coming on it. And I could see him from the road. He's no old rocking chair. And they were singing, let the sun shine in. Oh God. His voice was broken in. Didn't have many teeth, but let the little sun shine in. Shine in. He's rocking. Let the little sun shine in.